game is unmarketable. Plain and simple, it is unmarketable. That is the biggest issue with PSO2, Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis. It is an unmarketable game, specifically on global side. This is what has gotten the game into trouble all these years. This is the reasoning. So we're going to dive into exactly every tidbit down the line here of to why this game has struggled with its community and with its growth over the years. Because for some reason, people cannot seem to see it. Maybe you're choosing to be ignorant to it. Maybe you just genuinely can't see it. So hopefully I can explain to you what is going on here, and it will give you a better understanding. And maybe if Sega is listening, maybe if Sega of Japan is listening, maybe you can take this as constructive input and better your products in the future. Not sure if you could do so at this point with the state of the community for global this far down the line, but this will help to not repeat the same mistakes in the future. But first, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out tremendously. Thank you very much. There's too many people who want the game to be a freaking XXX film, bro. Plain and simple. I'm not saying the actual word, but you get what I'm saying here. There's too many people who want this to be going on in the game. They think that the whole game is a triple freaking X film. That's your biggest issue right there. Too many people have zero regards for people around them. You know, you have people doing things in public chat like ERPing, which is absolutely wild, and this does happen. And this has always happened. This has been happening. It will likely always happen. And I will keep it 100, y'all. I will keep it fully 100. I've mentioned this on stream before. I'm not sure if I've ever said this in a video, but I've definitely said this on stream. When, you know, because a lot of times in stream we just have discussions, we talk, and you know, it's just people talking. And honestly speaking, I can with 100% certainty say that I would never recommend PSO2 NGS to one of my family members or something like that, especially any of my female family members who might be younger or whatnot. I would never. You couldn't pay me to, because the community within PSO2 NGS Global is so corrupted, so disgusting, quite frankly, to the point that it's almost embarrassing to play the game. It's almost embarrassing, and quite frankly, a lot of my family probably didn't even know that, you know, I play like PSO2 and NGS, stuff like that. I mean, not that they would know anyway. A lot of them aren't gamers, so they wouldn't care either way. But but have they seen that? Have they seen NGS? A lot of people, like, you play that game and you're just like, okay, you think it's an action RPG, but you know, then you see the game and it's like, what is this? What's going on here? You know, it's like half naked people, you know, a whole bunch of you know, pregnant ladies running around, like overly pregnant ladies running around for no like half naked for no reason. You have like it's just so it's a disturbing sight, quite frankly. And then you have people doing things like ERPing in public chat. You just have this complete mess of a show. And like I said, I would honestly never recommend the game to anyone within my family, because my family's pretty. I have a very large family, for those who are not aware, and but they're all pretty, you know, they're reasonable people, and they're definitely. They see something like this, and they're probably like, what is what? This is a video game, bro? Like these people play this, like, you know. So just saying that straight out, and that's a community issue. That's a global side community issue. It's not marketable. Like, the average person cannot pick up PSO2 NGS and play the game. They can't. Global community is way too perverted, and it feels like at every single corner there's some sexual harassment going on or something of just ill practice going on at every single corner. And you hear these stories from many people. You see people often post on my videos and tell me their stories and their experiences with this, especially female players. You know, even those usually male-to-male players who are the problematic ones, of course. But you see this happen all the time. And it's engraved within the community on global sides specifically. And it makes for a very deterring game. Now, remember, this isn't the only issue going on here. There are a list of issues. So if you're suddenly like hearing this and you're like, oh yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue right there. No, we got other issues here too that don't only pertain to that. And you might be involved in some of them. Who knows? So we're going down here. Remember, I'm not over here to try to play favorites or try to, say this because you want to hear this or say this. No, I'm here to tell it how it is. That's what I do. That's what I do. You hate it or love it. But I'm gonna keep it authentic. That's just how it works here, okay? So nonetheless, we're going to keep moving down this list on these issues on why PSO2 NGS Global and specifically has had such a struggling path throughout its journey. The global version of the game has historically been a PR nightmare. Honestly speaking, it's been a PR freaking nightmare. And if it were a real working office, it would be a field day for a lawyer. Straight up, it would be a field day for a lawyer if it were a real life working office, because the amount of like sexual harassment that goes on in this game is absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. The things that you see in the chats, in the public chats, we're trying to force people to respond in a way to be okay with their advances and so and so and so so. It is absolutely disgusting. And I say that from the heart. Absolutely freaking disgusting. Like I said, it would be a field day for a lawyer if this was an actual working environment with an actual system set up where people can go and talk to people and report people and stuff like that. It would be a field day. Company would be shut down a long time ago. But this is allowed to pester and fester and turn a blind eye to here on PSO2 NGS, global and specific. Maybe look at the management. At any rate, let's keep it moving. So then that moves us right into people abusing the character creation, which it goes right in line with what we were just talking about. But there's no real guideline or limit to how far one can go with this. That's one of the biggest issues here, is that everything kind of is like, oh, well, there's these guidelines, but there's these guidelines, but we're just going to teeter right here and teeter, but sometimes we'll be all the way up here, and then other times, maybe we just don't see anything. It's so inconsistent, right? So inconsistent. So sometimes people get suspended for using accessories or parts to abuse the models and create for extremely lewd avatars with protruded parts, whether that's nipples, etc., and which is clearly stated against TOS. But at other times, these same types of instances are not punished at all. There's like a blind eye turn to them. It's so inconsistent. The game is marketed as an action adventure, but when people on the global side install it, they quickly realize that it's more of a lewd drama simulator. Like, that's really what they realize. It's like you're pretty much getting duped. You install, as a new player, you install the game, and I've talked to you about this before, about Alio. How a lot of this pretty much, Alio is the main place that you go to, that you start off at when you're a new player. You go through like the prologue, and then eventually the first populated block that you end up in with actual players in it is an Alio populated block, right? Okay, some people might be, well, I think they start in Alio beginners. The first populated block that you end up in is Alio. If you're a new player, you end up in Alio for beginners, you're going to be like, oh, where is everyone at? Let me go look. Oh, okay, Alio, the populated block of Alio. Let's go there. You're picking at hairs here. We all know what I'm saying here. That's where you are going to get your first impression of the community from. And this is where it always happens at. This is, the populated Alio block is always the hotspot for pretty much everything wrong in the game, which is a lot in terms of community. So this is the populated hot block for that. And this is what every first person sees when they come into the game. They walk into the game, they see these crazy outfits, or lack thereof outfits rather. They see people drama going on in public chat. They see people being sexually harassed. They see all these lewd actions going on. They see, sometimes you see some symbol arts, some lewd symbol arts going on there, which of course they should be getting banned for that. That's against TOS, but let's face it, sometimes they don't. I think I turned mine off a long time ago, because it's such a bad experience when you have to turn off things that are key functionalities within PSO games. Like, like the symbol arts and things like that. Those are key functionalities that have always been within PSO games. When you have to now turn off a key function of what makes these games, because the community will not be addressed by the people who oversee the community, that's an issue. If you can't see it, that's an issue. That's why we're in the state that we're in right now. There are too many inconsistencies, and a lot of these are simply just the fact that you have a management team and employees, specifically on global side, that allow for these inconsistencies to exist. Hell, perhaps they're partaking in these very issues themselves, which is why none of these things are ever tackled. Let that sink in. Perhaps they are partaking in these very issues themselves. Perhaps they are people who are pushing these types of issues to persist them very selves. And that is why it continues to persist them very selves. It's not rocket science, top down. It's as if no one is putting their foot down and saying enough is enough. And because no one puts their foot down, you let the situation get progressively worse. So time is put into developing the game and adding this or that, but it ultimately falls for naught because you still have poison in your blood. You refuse to move the poison, so everything that's done is just layered over the poison. But the poison is still there. The poison doesn't go away. If you just keep building on top of it, you're not addressing anything. It's like, oh, well, maybe if we keep building on top of it, it'll go away eventually. It doesn't work like that. But if you keep building on top of it, we could just turn a blind eye to it. It goes away. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. I figure at this point, you're probably listening to me because it's 5 years in. No, excuse me, it's 4 years in. It came out 2021. It's 4 years in. So at this point, you're probably seeing, oh, yeah, what he's saying does actually kind of make sense. It took us 4 years to realize that. Well, even though I probably said this 2 years ago. Let's be completely honest. But hopefully now you can see it. Next, you have an NGS official program that is run with no clear guidelines. This is on global side. You have a global NGS official program that is run with no clear guidelines. NGS official creators are supposed to be staples to the community, examples to the community, hype up the game, all the above. And history has told us that, well, the management top down from that is doing the exact opposite of what they should be doing in trying to achieve this outcome. There are no clear guidelines, and the people who are managing this thing, who are managing and overseeing the NGS official program global side, they just manage it the way they want it to be managed. It's managed however the people overseeing it want it to be managed. And this is clear by the constant introductions of new content creators that substantially do not meet requirements listed on the website, even remotely, in no way, shape, or form, meet the requirements. This is time and time again, and this has happened. It lets you know. And we all know that on JP side, it's much more difficult to get into the program because they are overseen by two different entities. They're overseen by two different entities. That's why. And you see that on the SEGA of America side, the global side, you clearly see the malpractice and the disregard of guidelines taking place here. It's extremely obvious. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this. Hell, you could go to the website and look at these content creators. You could look at all of them, and you can figure out very quickly which ones are actually meeting the criteria and which ones are not. Meanwhile, you have creators such as the individual who made the PSO2 NGS damage calculator that widely and largely used, who has applied to the program and has been pushed away on multiple occasions. They have stated this. You have people like that, people who are much more qualified to get into these programs who simply do not get into the programs because, you know why? Because they are nitpicking. They are favoriting. They are choosing who is going to come in here, not based on the criteria, not based on guidelines, but based on, hey, you could fit into this group of clan members, you feel like you can fit into this group of people, let's come on in. So that's pretty much how that's done for the most part going on there. There's no real clear, concise guidelines that are being followed by this because there's malpractice all within that whole thing going on there. There's malpractice everywhere within it. I was shaking my hand on the desk, and I just realized I was moving the monitor too, so I was like shaking. Y'all were shaking with me. It was like, oh, shake it. Whoa, shake it like a Polaroid picture. You know what to do, which I know about the outcast. Anyways, but make it make sense. You literally have creators on there who post a video, 2 videos a month or every couple months. Maybe it has like 10 views or something. They do nothing. It's very clear that they do not meet the criteria. There's a time where there was a creator in there who was stopped making NGS content like months prior, like 4 or 5 months that passed before they even left the program. I don't know if they got removed or if they just like contacted and say, "Hey, I'm not making content." Like, is the incompetence is substantial. There's the people who are behind the management there at SEGA of America, the affiliates who take part within this whole process. They do not care about what's going on. They are there to obtain a paycheck. That is it. That is it. They do not care. They want to bend everything to work in the way that they want it to work to their own benefit. They do not care about the guidelines set in place. They do not care about the vision SEGA has in general for their properties, for the games. They only care about what they want to shape and mold the community or this program or whatnot into. It has become an individualistic or group of people's, I guess, pathway or goal to create a type of, worldview or type of environment that suits what they want, not what the company wants, not what SEGA wants. And this is becoming more and more apparent as time goes by. If you have not been seeing it already over the years, then as time goes by, you see it more and more and more as the lack of want to address these things never changes. And you see these repeat behaviors happen again and again and again. It's repeat behaviors. There is a cycle here. This is not like one-off things that are happening. These are repeat things that are happening. It's not a mistake if you do it more than once. These are intentional. You have to understand that. So let me speak directly to SEGA when I say this. You have employees that do not care about the quality of your products, but instead are simply going about doing the bare minimum to have you believe that something is being done. Nothing is being done. Nothing is being done. And then, so continuing with the game, with the community, you have way too many bad actors that are not being punished. You don't punish these behaviors, so by doing so, you actually promote them. You have people who have been clear nuisances to the entirety of the communities, with hundreds of people speaking out on unique and personal examples of how negatively they have impacted their experience or how they made them quit the game. Yet these people are never punished. These people still roam freely. These people are never addressed, ever. You allow this to fester. You have allowed this to fester. SEGA as a company as a whole, you have allowed this to fester. And now you thought, oh, well, maybe it will go away. No, it's just gotten worse because you let it fester. It sometimes feels as if PSO2 NGS Global is like a gathering hole for all the most problematic types of people who exist on the internet. Y'all listen to this. Let this one sink in. And it's like this because the management overseeing Global has allowed it to be like this. The management overseeing Global has allowed it to be like this. The people in power, people in positions of power, have allowed it to become like this. All of them. Anyone who did not speak out, you are responsible. It's like how President Bukele cleaned up the streets of El Salvador, right? We all know this story here recently. President Bukele cleaned up the streets of El Salvador. Pretty intense, but it's worked. It's worked tremendously well, right? It's now one of the safest countries in the entire world. The entire freaking world. You used to hear the name El Salvador and think about it and think, oh yeah, this is a place that definitely is very dangerous. It definitely wouldn't want to go visit there. And now it's the complete opposite. It's now one of the safest countries in the world with millions of citizens able to live happily and enjoy their quality of life. Many people now want to go visit El Salvador because it's one of the safest places in the world, which boosts revenue. I know you all like revenue. Companies love revenue, right? It boosts revenue, boosts tourism, etc. But instead, what we have here on Global, is the backwards version of this. We lock up and silence all the decent people so that all the problematic people would have a safe haven where they can prevent growth and continuously damage all revenue streams to the company. Not sure if this is exactly how y'all planned it. Not entirely sure, but this is how it has turned out. So once again, I'm just being completely honest with y'all. I'm hoping that y'all see this and do an eternal review. An external review would be even better of the entire process. But hopefully this is giving some insight and some leveling to it. Not trying to bash or anything. I just want some, I'm just trying to help out. I just want people to be accountable. I want y'all to realize that certain things aren't working. I want y'all to realize why they're not working. So that way you can better in the future. So to conclude, I am an avid fan of PSO, Phantasy Star Online. I have been since Dreamcast. I played it back on Dreamcast. I imported PSO version 2 on Dreamcast, imported PSO episode 1 and 2 on GameCube, had the GameCube controller, keyboard controller. I played PSO2 on JP when it came out in 2012, played PSU, Phantasy Star Universe, and we've been playing PSO2 NGS. I'm not someone who has just doesn't like the franchise. Clearly, no. I like the franchise a lot. I've always liked the franchise, and it has always provided me with a lot of fond memories. So naturally, this is not coming from a place of someone who is just, oh yeah, let's doom post this game. Let's just talk bad about this game because I want to talk. No, I'm someone who has always been committed to this franchise for a very long time. Especially, well, until of course, I get treated very unfairly over this past 2 months by the whole process. But we're not talking about that. This is here to try to address these things and just let you know why y'all have an issue on your hands and what the issue is with the community, especially on the global side. I have many fond memories with that game, PSO, on Dreamcast, and I still talk to people who I met online back then, way back then in the early 2000s. I still talk to them online. I have very fond memories with that game. And I enjoy NGS for what it is. I think that the combat in NGS really is one of a kind, and that's really what keeps me in the game as the combat. Within NGS. That's really what keeps me in NGS, and I really enjoy it for that degree and for that reasoning. Is that combat definitely is not the community that keeps me within the game, which should not be the case in an MMORPG, MMOARPG should not be the case. Community should always be the backbone. Do you understand that? I genuinely, for all intents and purposes, enjoy the game. However, the troubles with the community have been a persistent deterrent and a persistent roadblock for the game since its inception. First impressions mean a lot, even second impressions do. And because these things were never tackled early on, the game missed its chance to bring in a core fundamental audience. Instead, its global, in specific, became a safe haven and breeding ground for toxicity, manipulation, sexual harassment, and managerial malpractice to flourish in. The fact of the matter is that the people in power overseeing global created a truly unmarketable product. And I wish that y'all had someone with even half the drive, half the dedication, half the know-how, and love for the series that I do, to have helped create what could have been one of the greatest communities in a spectacular game. Because what you have to understand is that when it comes to MMORPGs, these MMOARPG types of games and similar types of games in that environment that operate the way that these games do, is that the community makes the game. If the community is garbage, the game is going to follow suit. Consider the game a car, and its community is fuel. If you keep putting diesel into an engine that runs on gasoline, one issue will arise after the next until the entire thing is in flames. You cannot build a flourishing forest in freshly contaminated nuclear soil. So hopefully this helped. Y'all be sure to like and subscribe. I will see you on the next one. Happy hunting. Much love. Spike to content.